Hi, I'm Dominic Roberson, and this is Emotional Behavior Disorders. Emotional behavior disorders, also EBD, is a very broad category. It's used to group a wide range of specific difficulties. Truthfully, they're hard to diagnose. The child has to consistently show certain behaviors that are related to these disorders and then be diagnosed by professionals. Problem is, professionals don't always agree on diagnoses, and you run into problems there. Historically, these children have been labeled by their teachers as troublemakers or just bad kids, and they've been outcast by their peers and treated poorly in class. And that's because of, of lack of information. But nowadays, we have more information on disabilities and interventions to be used. Emotional and behavior disabilities can be broken down into two categories, internal and external. Some of the internals are depression, anxiety, and autism spectrum disorders. Some of the externals are ADHD or attention deficit hyperactive disorders, and some of your conduct disorders. Depression is a mental disorder. It's characterized by episodes of all-encompassing low mood or low self-esteem. With the extreme cases, you could see cutting or violence or even suicide, so it's really important to keep an eye on this. So your symptoms, if your child is, low mood, they're down and out, uninterested in things that they usually do, they're under or oversleeping, or they're not eating, they could have depression. You should probably get it checked out. Some of the causes and treatments of depression. Um, the causes can be biological, they can be psychological, or they can be social. Um, some of the treatments, psychotherapy, which could be group, individual, or family therapy, and this is performed by professionals such as psychologists and psychiatrists. And also, you can have medication. Some of the more popular ones are Abilify, Zoloft, and Prozac. Before I move on, back to the depression. Some of the causes for depression, such as social, can be like girlfriend breaking up with them, friends not talking to them, just anything that makes them sort of down and out so they're not enjoying their time. Anxiety is the most common mental illness in America, with 40 million Americans being affected with it. This is a feeling of worry or fear, and anxiety is normal with everybody. Everybody has a little bit of anxiety about something, but when it becomes overwhelming, it's called anxiety disorder. There are many types of anxiety, such as phobia, general anxiety, social anxiety, which is anxiety in social situations, obsessive compulsive disorder, post traumatic stress disorder, and panic disorder is possibly the worst one, where you have panic attacks, you can't control your breathing, in bad cases, you pass out. Here are some of the signs and symptoms of anxiety. I'm not going to go through all of them, but anxiety can be mistaken for hyperactivity. The person with anxiety is tense and can't stop moving. They could be trembling or sweating, breathing heavily, crying. Any of these signs that are listed here, you might want to check for anxiety. Here's an example I came up with of a third grade girl with anxiety. This is based on a person I know in real life. They find it difficult to go to school in the morning. They cling to their mother at the school door. They can't explain what makes them scared about school or how they can make it better. It's just leaving school and or leaving their mother to go to school makes it difficult for them, and also it makes it difficult for them to use coping skills. They're restless and tense in class. They want to crawl under desks. Autism spectrum disorders is a real complicated disorder. Um, it affects 2 million Americans. I mean, it's very common in America, and it's the most common diagnosed problem that children have in America. Here, autism spectrum is it's on a spectrum. The most extreme you have autistic disorder, and the least extreme is Asperger's syndrome. In between is PDD and OS, which is where most people on the spectrum lie. Here's some, just some stuff about autism. Um, Scientists really don't know the cause of autism spectrum disorders. They just know it's irregularities in the brain. Some of the characteristics are social defects, Most people with autism or Asperger's have bad social skills, communication defects, they have repetitive behaviors, and occasionally they have cognitive delays. Some of the things you look for before the age of 3 are not speaking, repetitive behaviors, and poor social interaction. Just some of the signs. I'm not going to go through all these. It's just Asperger's syndrome is also on the spectrum. It's much less um, severe than autism. They don't have cognitive delays usually. They have the repetitive behaviors and they have particular things they like. They might have particular speech and language things. Um, they have poor social skills and they could be clumsy or uncoordinated. PDD-NOS, this is most people on the autism spectrum. Um, they, like I said, they're in between autism and Asperger's. They have the social skills. They do have better language than autistic disorder, but not as good language as Asperger's. They have fewer repetitive behaviors than both. Um, ADD and or attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder. It's a mental disorder. It's characterized by difficulty paying attention or hyperactivity. Could also be a combination of the two. Usually symptoms arise before age of 7. They're not listening, they can't focus, they can't organize and lose things. Hyperactivity, impulsivity, those are things to watch for. It's the most common behavioral disorder. 3, 3 to 5% of children have it. There's no known cause. Oppositional defiance is another um, outward disorder, and it's just refusal, um, arguments, anger, resentment. They could be spiteful, and the causes are unknown. Thanks for listening to my presentation, and I would encourage everyone to do more research and look up all of these disorders.